Hospitalizations for COVID-19 are on the rise as well. Spectrum Health calls it a steep increase in the past few weeks. 13 on your side's Elena Holland spoke to doctors and has a closer look. Elena.
Hi, Juliet. Spectrum Health hospitals have currently 112 people admitted with COVID-19. And across the state, there are 1,108 adults in hospitals with COVID-19 and 15 confirmed children. And that includes people who have been vaccinated against the virus. But a Spectrum Health doctor says that needs to be put into perspective.
Clearly, the circulation of the virus has dramatically increased in the community, and that's almost certainly due to the Delta variant.
Calling it a steep increase in hospitalizations in the past few weeks, Dr. Sullivan, an infectious disease expert with Spectrum Health, said among the 112 patients with COVID-19, 20 are vaccinated. But he said about half of those vaccinated patients are not in the hospital for COVID-19, but came in for something else.
And then you get a screening spot for COVID-19 and it's positive, but they're not having fevers, not having any respiratory symptoms at all. So they're completely asymptomatic.
And many of the others are sick due to an underlying immune deficiency or medication.
I think it's very important not to get too alarmed by the fact that we have 20 vaccinated patients in the hospital, because there are some very good reasons for it when you really start looking at those numbers more closely.
More than 90% of deaths in patients with COVID-19 at Spectrum are unvaccinated. That's 195 deaths among the unvaccinated compared to 17 deaths in fully vaccinated since the shots became available. Dr. Sullivan said all this shows the vaccines are definitely saving lives.
That in the past week, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state of Michigan has increased 37%.
Meanwhile, cases and positivity rate are on the rise, and the trends show it's typically younger, unvaccinated people getting sick and needing treatment.
Having children hospitalized with COVID-19 remains not terribly frequent. However, the occasional child will need very high levels of support because of their COVID-19.
There are currently 2 children at Helen DeVos being treated for COVID-19. One patient was released yesterday who had developed Miss C.
And so we do have concern that as many children have started school within the past week, and there is variable mandates for mitigation strategies for COVID-19 in the schooling environments, that we could see, especially our unvaccinated young children less than 12 years of age, we could see far more cases of COVID-19.
And Dr. Sullivan said, looking at what is happening in the South, he expects even more hospitalizations here as we get closer to fall. And looking at data from Monday, there are 17 patients with COVID-19 at both Metro Health and 17 at Mercy Health St. Mary's.